Yes, so it was tabled in Parliament yesterday along with the shipwriters agreement. This allows the US Coast Guard to come into PNG waters. And look, while it does answer some questions, there's still a lot of details that need to be filled in. And that was really the flavour of the debate in the PNG Parliament, the reason that this text has been made public. And we should point out this has been made transparent, unlike the Chinese agreement that was struck with the Solomon Islands over a year ago that no one's has yet seen the details of that agreement. It's there for scrutiny in the Parliament. It shows that it looks at issues of under what legal framework US troops and equipment and boats and aircraft would come into Papua New Guinea. It looks at this contentious issue of if a US soldier broke the law, would he be prosecuted under a US military court or a PNG court? And the answer there is it will be a US court-martial. That the PNG has ceded its sovereignty in that particular matter, although US personnel, if they were doing something wrong that came under a civil law that was outside their duties, then that would be looked at by the PNG courts. But there's not a lot of detail of what exactly the US military will be doing at PNG ports and air bases. And so politicians, as they got up to speak today and yesterday to debate this agreement that will have to be ratified by the Parliament, they're saying, well, look, we do need to see more detail. And this is a framework agreement. There'll be subsidiary agreements that will come under it that will look at, how many dollars, what time frame, and what exactly does the US have in its plans for the various ports and air bases around Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, because I guess one of the phrases that popped out was that the US can gain unimpeded access. So I guess there are still a lot of questions about what its intention with PNG bases might be.
Yeah, well, they, US officials would argue, and, certainly Marape's office would argue, under a defence cooperation agreement, that really is an agreement on how a military partner does come into your country. So perhaps they would say that, having access to facilities that the US is going to be investing in to upgrade, perhaps isn't that surprising. But, exactly what? I mean, the major airport and port in Port Moresby are named in the annex to this document, along with a couple of regional ports and airports. Marape has said in Parliament that, the upgrades that they have in mind will be for both civilian and military use. So how wide-ranging is it? What impact does it have on the major airport in Port Moresby?
To your point, this has still got to be ratified by Parliament. Do you think the Prime Minister is going to face some problems doing that?
Well, his office is saying this evening that they do have the numbers. They say that if you look at who stood up in Parliament yesterday to talk on this before debate was adjourned, that they think it, even prominent opposition members like Peter O'Neill, he gave some scrutiny to some of the issues around the, US military courts. But in the end, he said, look, congratulations on getting this far after 7 years of negotiation, but I want to see some more detail. So he's not opposing it. And so they're saying that they do think that they can get this through when it comes to a vote. Parliament's been adjourned till August now. So, it's quite a few months down the track, which perhaps might be surprising, given this agreement was signed in May.
Yeah, indeed. How do you think China is viewing this, given the reaction there was to the pact signed between China and Solomon Islands?
They have said very little publicly, and Marape in Parliament had said that if, he will be going to Beijing on a state visit later this year, that he still envisages that China will be a major trading partner. The trade minister stood up and said, look at Australia and New Zealand that have the United States as a major security ally, but also have China as their major trading partner. So Papua New Guinea certainly is hoping to negotiate this balance, and we haven't said much said publicly by Beijing at this stage.
Yeah. Good to have you on, Kirsty. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.